Listen, man, you can combine the names all the ways you want. Sancho Wager, the Shio West. It's SW squared. You cool with that, Sancho?
Oh, I am vibing with that indeed, Shio.
Okay, let's hit it up. Okay, game number 2 of EU. Game number 1, honestly, for me, Sancho, was strange. I feel like from the desert site, it was highly aggressive. Kind of weird to watch. I'm always used to that game 1 stacker, you know, insane surge all the way around. But like there were so many aggressive pushes to every single box. It was like no one on the north side. Kinzel had like a free game to play, basically. It was just not what you really get to see in EU.
And what was also strange as well is the rotations all kind of, it felt like they were white lighting it, but they kind of weren't, because they all converged on the same slice of the pie, as I always like to say when it comes into rotate. And that slice of the pie, it got messy and it got very, very chaotic. And that's all the chaos that happened just on the left side of the Colosseum, as we see it off in the distance. But we already talked about the split that's going to happen right there in the Steamy stacks already. No shots exchanged. Everything's calm, except the Elan feed lighting up just a little bit here, but no kind of craziness that's happening here. And you talked about Kinzel, Deceptos, Wakis. Let's take a look at them. All chilling, all vibing. A lot of calm happening all here, and that little bit of box fighting here happening. We talked about Analyx, Snazzy, and Squeeze. They like to late rotate here out of this rotation at Caddy Corner. So when they rotated late, I don't think they expected so many people to be in their path.
No, honestly, and at the same time, they got to avoid a lot of it. They were a little bit earlier and got to stay ahead of everything. I think like right now we're looking at like the North Pole and South Pole of the map kind of dominating and having the most options possible. So Analyx, Snazy, and Squeeze, it might not be the complete South, but on the bottom right side of the map, they have Caddy Corner completely to themselves. They can have a big split. They can choose to have one player closer to a mountain like Squeeze and take shots. On the north side, we just saw Kinzel all the way over at Coral Castle, undisturbed. They get to push up ebb and flow with Sweaty Sands as well. So they have good control over their game too. Everyone in between, Missy Metals, although it looks like Sergui Boss, Air Trap, and Robab here or Robab Kebab are both kind of in a spot that's not really disturbed. Right. They don't have as many options, right? You can't go into Misty Meadows. You can't get free loot there. You can't pass by without getting shot. They're more so in a narrow corridor. You're talking about a filled hallway, though. Once again, Salty Towers, another fight, Sancho. It is not stopping the action.
There's nothing like a Salty Towers. Now it's up to Savage again, who is down to 56 HP. Nice tag to kind of slow down the push here. But now it's going to dip into the Chug Splash inventory. No partner in sight. Tayson is just on the other side of this wall here. But Nikov, Blaster, and Alpha are putting the brakes, and down goes Savage right then and there with a good blast from the Nikov team. And now Tayson again, as a solo star, has to survive as much as possible. But it could just be a matter of moments as the squeeze is too strong. And Tayson's trio gets converted and gets wiped and gets sent back to the lobby. And that's going to be a lot of time waiting for match 3 for them. But I don't understand what is going on in Salty Towers. I understand it's a center of the map, Shy. I understand it's a great place for Storm Surge, but there's only 2 Slurp Trucks there. There is no Legend Nick Mercs fighting there. There's no reason to be there for so many trios.
Only 2 Slurp Trucks. It's a big deal to have those 2 Slurp Trucks.
I know.
A lot of inventory space you don't have to use.
I get it.
But it's this one word, right? It's control. It's the option to go north, south, east, or west whenever you want. The option to navigate the zone whichever way you want as well. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, to go back to previous seasons, it's not like a power POI of Doom's Domain or Stark Industry. And no one's saying that, you know, maybe Salty Towers could... Oh, hit me with it.
You know what I mean? Like, is there a complete superpower POI right now? Not totally, really. There's good POIs and strong POIs for certain playstyles, right?
Yes.
Like, that's the big thing. So if you want to play 100%, but at Craggy and Dirty, you can't really rotate towards the center of the map as fast. Right. You can't really push into every single direction you want to, right? Southwest side, you have to do a Dirty Dock rotate. That's troublesome. That's difficult, right? But if you're in Salty Towers, you have the option to push there, push back a little bit. The big thing this game, though, right? This is a huge game of change. Last time we saw Savage win, they pushed north, affected Snagged. Snagged already went down before the game even started, and Savage is not in it anymore at all either. So the people who controlled last game's zone are not here to control it again. We'll have new leaders in the form of Blaster and Nikov. And by watching them for multiple seasons, Sancho, you know they're a more passive trio overall. They don't really get to have the same type of control as Savage and iDrop would. They don't like to have that height super early, more so stay mid and low. So this will be a very, very, very different game. I think people are already learning from their mistakes as well. Miro, Snap, and Swag rotating early into the center. Yaxo not rotating as quick as before.
And we're talking about that change here in match 2. We have 6 games total to work with. And again, just a reminder for everybody out there, it is 10 spots that are open right now for the semifinals. And hey, at the same time, even though you're on the outside looking in on that top 10, you still could accrue points to get you into the semifinals, to get you invited. And that's what's happening here. This is the basically round 4 of the qualifiers that's happening. We have so much action here for the FNCS. And also later on today, we're going to go for the NA. Oh man, NA East and NA West is coming up later on today. It's going to be an exciting action all around. If you're a big fan of Fortnite competitive, keep it locked into all the respective channels where you're watching, and especially knocking into that FN competitive Twitter, because you may catch some awesome highlights and maybe some tips for your trio out there, considering you might want to compete. Lots of time to get yourself in, Shio. Lots of time.
Lots and lots for these guys as well in the early game to make some decisions. That zone pulling slightly towards the south side. Always troublesome to see this zone in play. You end up with mountains, rivers, valleys. It's difficult. At the same time, a huge mountain to climb for, I guess, the region now. Past game 1, Hen, Janus, and Chapix, 56 points. That is a huge lead on the 37 that Red Rush, Dio, and Exterios have. Looks like they're winning over at Slurpy Swamp as well. They're hard contested in that POI, but looks like, you know, game 1 went in their favor. Question is, how is game 2 looking overall for everyone inside the region? Hellfire, Clusia, Boyer also moving around. Boyer, that last game, ended up having to clutch the game out for himself. Looks like everyone's being a little bit more closer to the chest, not as experimental as game number 1.
Yeah, it looks like the butterflies all went away, and now it's just all back into understanding what you got to do. This is game 2 of game 6. Boyer understood what he had to do as a solo, just get in as much as possible, was able to get his team to a 13th place finish here. And now we have Toots next. And this trio kind of applying the pressure here, not letting Andalex's trio leave so free. They understood that they like to leave late, and they're here. And look at this. This is something about this wedge here. So much congestion that's happening early on. And you mentioned where the storm is, the safe zone. It is so far up north for this trio. So it's going to be another messy rotate here. And it's so interesting. Last season, just to kind of bring it into scope here, the last FNCS, there were so many crazy rotations coming out of the Weeping Woods. You have all the teams coming out of Slurpee, all the teams of Weeping, a little bit the Log Jam area, even all the way to Rainbow Rentals, if you want to bring up that area, and as well, that little pipeland area. Like, so many trios like to land in Slurpee Swamps, but here in the EU side of things, all that's free. And can that be? I have to bring up Levin 2K, added to the team. Great addition for the EU region. He was streaming himself, and he said that a lot of teams are staying away from the West Coast side of things because they do not want to deal with the Deals trio, understanding they'd like to W key. But could that be the reason why there's so much congestion here on the east side of things, Shai?
I just feel like the power from POIs, the way you can play the game, is a lot more free and fluid from the east side of the map. Rotating through Weeping, having to deal with going through Salty Towers instead of having the option to go around it. You don't really have that from the west. On the west side as well, you have to kind of go into full 50-50s. You're looking at it, I mentioned it before, you know, Deals trio versus Nappies. If you're landing Slurpee, you can't really land in the outskirts. You have to control the POI. If you're landing Dirty and things are going bad, you could go to the Cami split. You could go to the Gorge, right? You can do many different things, but on the west side of the map, there's just not as many options. So you see people kind of straying away because, yeah, there's some power trios like Vidil there. You do not want to mess with Vidil.
No, you do not want to mess with the deal. And this is what there's so many rotations now because of that are being pushed to the west side of things. And now you're just seeing the congestion. You're seeing the traffic jams that's being caused, the ripple effects of a strong trio out there. And now we're seeing Andretta, Mexi, and Michael here with the great setup here for Storm Surge tags if they want to find any. As you hear the sound, the Storm Surge is getting nearer and nearer. So this is a great opportunity to use that blue antenna there, Shio, to get those tags. Some great looks here, what we've seen, how it all is shaking up here for this side of the safe zone. And they're going to need some tags, 18 below.
These are powerful tags as well. This is Steamy Stacks and Dirty Docks kind of on top and top of each other. So anyone that's kind of around is, first of all, getting beaten by people who are used to being in this position. And at the same time, are in a lot of trouble because there's not too many mats to refarm over and over in this kind of valley that this river's kind of going through. So you have to be very careful with the position you take. A little bit of an airdrop coming through as well for a team to pick up. And Dretta is down on Surge as well. So at some point, we'll need a few tags. I'm not too worried about it either. These are vital shots for Scram to hit. Not actually hitting in just yet. See what happens though, a little bit of time.
A little bit of time here. As you've seen, Scram's trio wins about 82% of the fights they take. That's steamy. But now they're just a little bit outside, and these are critical. Nice tag right there. That's just enough. Gonna get them a little bit closer on that threshold. Now they're 9 below. This threshold is so important here for Storm Surge because this is what they want to keep here. They want this position as much as possible. Storm Surge will push them out, and they will have no choice to take a fight. That percentage is great for that POI drop spot, but when Storm Surge is on your backside, beaming down that 25 HP, and you have to dive into that flopper currency, the percentages change. Now Luna, Jaspe, Moraine, it changes so much. Now we're seeing the pick coming down. I think this is Levin's pick right now. Jaspe, Moraine, and Lunef. Lunef, old school, coming from the World Cup scene, and Moraine being a no stranger to the championship stage. And Jaspe, we kind of talked about this a little bit in our breakdown, Shayo, how they had a very bad drop in the FNCS previous trios in Stark Industries. Now they have an opportunity to see what they can do with the uncontested drop, but they just barely get in, as Jaspe does pay the toll in some HP.
Yeah, these guys are kind of free birds now this season. Last time they were contained by Starks. Now it's like they're also, you know, in Hunter's Haven, kind of surrounded by POIs, but get to choose how to play their early game. Put back in cages, though, off those beams, and now everyone else seems like they're also trapped in a pet shop. So many people just staring in, poking at the glass. Wakey, the Siptos, and Kinzel. We're the first to see what pet they want to take home, what Elam points they want to add to their arsenal. It might be ETQ, who's down on Surge. At the same time, the box opens up. And the beams are coming through. This is looking really good for the Siptos, Kinzel, and Wakey. This
is nothing but a Storm Surge fight. A lot of the trios here, I took a peek, are just below here, and Wakey, Kinzel, Deceptos are now be able to go over 300 now. Storm Surge is turned off here as it hits the 70. The next time we're going to see is going to be closer around where 50 people come up, and then the 30, and that's the one that's scary the most. We did see it pop up in the previous match here in those rotating zones, but that's why you're seeing these box fighting that's happening here on outer edges. You're seeing people who are desperate. You saw Pablo, he was taking so many hits, and Pablo seems landing all the way to Holly Hedges. So that max pull essentially sent them all the way across Trek, and they were unable to get any valuable storm tags and put them in that bad situation right there, that positioning right there. And as you see, and talk about another bad situation, Scram and Dreda losing Ref's guard. So no doubts, they had to leave that blue antenna. It could have been that situation where they had to go get Storm Surge tags, and they paid the price in losing their teammate.
It's really different every game, every decision you make for the Surge as well. And yeah, Ref's guard will be down, but at the same time, Hard might be underway in tow as well. Not many POIs inside here, so it might just be a two-man operation for Scram and Dreda. Them having the sniper, though, golden charge as well to use. I don't think their game is completely over yet, Sancho. 4 points still. No. I think a pick will come through here, but everything has to happen in mid-game for them. I think for these trios too, an RPG finds its way through the builds, stuck between a rocket and a mountain as well. What a hard situation for Lanuf, Jaspe, and Marine to get through. It's not even possible for Lanuf. Oh my goodness.
You were saying free bird, brother. It looks like the music has been stopped right then and there. Lunef, now Moraine goes down, and it's going to be a matter of moments before that trio gets wrapped up. This is all going to be up to Jaspe. Now going to have to dip into that big pot for a second here. Just get that 50 shield just for a moment to breathe. Does have some medis, but the lobby focus is real, and the lobby focus could go ahead and eliminate Jaspe as he's looking at a weird 50-50. I don't think Putrick as well expected Jaspe to be staring at it. Now Jaspe is down to 1 HP in the dream, and now the lobby has chosen Jaspe to be the next 2-point addition to the leaderboard. But hey, Jaspe survives, gets a moment to breathe here. Now he's gonna have to not make any edits, but no, the storm. Oh my goodness. No, sigh of relief for Jaspe. He has a moment to breathe and pop that medi. Oh my goodness, Shayo. So much action happening here on Edge Storm Fights. It looks like EU's all about these Edge Storm Fights today.
It's all about getting those tags, but at the same time, you're talking about 1 HP in a dream. This is more so a nightmare. Stuck inside this claustrophobic metal box. Jaspe is just in trouble. And we were talking about, you know, their last FNCS, them kind of being dictated by spawn. You know, it doesn't have to be mongrel breathing down your throat this time. It just looks like at the same time now, they are once again in trouble off the start of their games. Nappy, Butrick, and Toos, though, these guys were contesting Dio over at Slurpee to begin with, or were set to. At the same time, Toos down now. They're gonna find a way to get back into this game as well. It's gonna be difficult for these guys. It's a cool thing too. Fun fact: Putrick and Toos, two players who are playing with Kiriachi a lot, who we all know loves to be inside that that slippery swamp action. Now, finally, the teammates who didn't get to play together too much, playing together at the same time with Snappy. And the cool thing about Snappy, you've been listening to the name Snappy, Wakey, Red Rush as well, kind of a fragmented FNCS legendary prestigious squad, now all playing against each other in this first week as well. None of them on the same team, none of them really in engagements yet with each other either, but that's because they're all on the opposite sides of the map. Snappy now rolling in as well. Putrick down to 1 HP as well. More nightmares along the map. Looks like everyone is just destroyed. We're having issues coming into the map from these outside POIs.
Now here we are taking a nice little look at how everybody's rotating in. Noah Riley and Badil kind of sneaking in here, and Chapix is in this fight. So many big names are all fighting. You're taking a look at your bottom right. No one's sitting at center here of that fourth zone. I know Sundown is probably saying the center is free. Someone take it, please, because that's where Sundown likes to live. But Hen, Janice, and Uguay, aka Chapix, is now living on top of the leaderboard right now. And we've been seeing the FNCS trios, a lot of people here at this moment at that half in and half out, fifth circle, playing for height, investing in for height. And that's why you're seeing so many of these trios right here in this apartment complex, all neighborly at the moment right now. But as soon as you see that fifth zone reveal, if it reveals right here and right now, Michael and his trio have to be careful, because there's going to be a play for height, because we all know that there's so many teams like to go aggro. So all eyes here fall on this complexity that may go down, Shayo.
And what an interesting kind of box there in general. Noah Riley, Vadil kind of split apart. One trio inside of the leaders of our region right now after game one. That is Hen, Janice, and Chapix. Right below them, though, the NVD duo is still alive, trying to get their game somewhere. But once again, we kind of go with Wakey, Deceptos, and Kinzel. And an update after their POI. They don't really get into many kerfuffles, so to say. Deceptos or Wakey usually have one elimination.
Always dangerous. The bouncer could save you mats, but it could cost you your HP. As we're seeing Genzel joining in, as you see Michael. God. Yo, so did someone get bopped with the snipe? But Michael is down. Holy, someone gotta take a look at that as Michael pays a price in that HP. We talked about snipes being real in the EU, and the EU region showing they're not messing around. It's a nice bouncer play here, and Noah Riley getting tagged as much as possible, and then Reason is gone. So it's up to be Noah Riley and Vidil to how to hold on as much as possible here, Shiloh. This rotate's looking dangerous.
It's so difficult. It's like these aircraft like Noah Riley, Rezon, and Vadil are trying to get over this mountain, but there's like a radar all the way up top. Every time they try to bouncer, it's beamed down. There's either rockets, snipers, or shots being taken through, and there's no way these guys can get their wings off the ground. Noah Riley and Vadil are now left over. Once again, the bouncer goes through and tags immediately after the fact. The top side of this map is tracking so well. Not only the way the movement's happening for every single duo or trio down below, but the patterns in which they want to use bouncers, where they want to push forward to. Red Rush taking out Frey as well, somewhere inside all of these different boxes. Now we have duos and trios separated, slashed together at the same time, somewhat segmented as well. Playwall's looking so good though, but it looks like they only have 2 teammates up right now.
2 teammates up for Stir6 and Vettel right now, trying to roll out as much as possible. You saw the investment on that mountaintop. A lot of teams, and that's the danger side of going for height early, as Kenzen right there at top is sitting really good. If you invest in that half in and half out, you're going to be in shambles the rest of the ride, and that's when you're going to get pushed down to low ground. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for Vettel and Stir6 here. They could survive a dangerous low ground team that like to be there. Now, hey, play well in Stir6 and Vettel. They like to do really well in the low ground, but can they do it as a duo is the question going forward. And they have to answer, how do we get surged? But I'm confident that this low ground team can. The question is, can they do it without having a full trio?
A little bit of a battle for them as well. On the right side, it's Killzal or Kinzel with a full trio, no teammate down, and a full loadout as well. From the top left side of the map, we see the RPG, I think from Jachino, from YZip, all the way up top. 7th place right now with Lazen and Kaizen. These guys are looking to take away the leading spot from Janice, Chapix, and Hen. These guys are all the way there on the left side of your screen in low ground. Game number 2 might also be a game of duos, so many of them alive. Noah Riley and Vadil are one who have Jachu trapped in the box. That pickaxe can't come through fast enough, and they have to find another way to get towards the storm.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're into the 7th zone right now, and as you're seeing, it's going to be pulling up a little bit of a small mountain towards the bridge, and that's where it's going to be very dangerous.
No.
Oh, down goes Noah Riley, and out goes that entire trio. As you're seeing, more big names are kind of at the mid ground right now. You're seeing Yanis Chapix here at the very mid ground against Kinzel Waking Deceptos. That's a great layer battle to see. As you can see, Hen leading the charge, bringing a nice tarp going to the front side of zone, and you have to make sure to be careful at top, because we all know at height does have that RPG, but hello, don't worry about height. Right in the box, Hen gets bopped here, and Janice and Chapix have to ride the rest of the way. It is Deceptos and Wakey getting Chapix.
Every single duo going down, playing well, trying to survive, and meanwhile, the 3 trios who are alive, 2 of them collide. Janice and Chapix now kind of left on their own as Hen goes down. Kinzel is still alive as well. The Deceptos behind him. Wakey still looking healthy. So 2 clear trios, 1 on height, 1 all the way on low, trying to control the game and play it for themselves, but only 1 can win in game number 2. And Dread on the backside as well is trying to come through just as a solo player. Might not be possible. YZ drops down and reconnects. Lysen and Kaizen looks so good right now up on height. Kaizen drops too low, takes a lot of shots going for Max. Return onto Andalex. What a good trade on the left side of your screen. He gets that huge pick, but goes down, and now Snazy has heights.
It can happen that fast if you make a mistake at height, if you use your rockets too early, as Wysit now is paying the price. Let's take a look on your right screen. You got Wakey here in the light low ground tarp. You have Janice here sitting in that same area. The tarps collide, the layers smash, and Janice is here is kind of being on the backside. Gets a knock on your bottom right of your screen against Wakey, but down he goes on Stir6. The play well duo still alive, doing well. But now the question is, there's a new member at height. It is Raxo, Paco, sitting pretty at the moment. As you saw already, heights being changed as down goes Deceptos. So it's up to Kinzel, the DreamHack champion, to hold on tight for that trio.
Might be a difficult task against trios and duos who survived thus far. Kinzel down now on low ground, almost drowning. No Max, can't swim, gets shot down and taken out by Lysen, a former height contender who's now down in the depths. Queasy Paco are looking to squeeze this game all the way out. 3 different teams left. They're not going to be able to survive. They're getting strangled right now. Stir6 down on low, gets shot away. Lysen survives, but for how long? Not enough. Paco, Queasy, and Raxo with the passive play and smart rotate get height, Sancho, and